Skyscraper window cleaners of Reddit. What is most bizarre thing you've ever seen on the job? Not as exciting as the other stories, but something I'm blown away by when I'm on ropes is how many people feel guilty about not working when I'm around. When you look into people's workstations, you can see that almost no one works. Most people are on Facebook, YouTube, or on news sites. But the second they notice me outside the window, they quickly switch to an Excel spreadsheet. Like they think I'm some kind of productivity spy about to rat them out to management. Keep cruising the internet, people, don't mind me. And also, pointing to the window and saying you missed a spot isn't funny, fuck you. It was a normal morning and I had just began cleaning windows. I'm cleaning one with the blind down, not really paying attention. I realize that the blind is slowly rising, and when it finishes opening I see him. Cricket legend Bradley doing yoga. We'll never forget that day. Not a skyscraper window washer, but was a janitor who had to wash the windows in a 6-story building as part of my job, so I used a mix of ladders and rappelling down from the roof with a harness to clean the outside windows. One day I was washing the outside windows on the executive floor where all the bosses and higher-up employees had their offices. I was done with one window, so I moved to the next window and looked in and saw the CEO of the company snorting something in his office with the door locked and the lights off. He looked up and saw me in the window, and we made an uncomfortable eye contact for about 15 seconds. Then I just pretended I saw nothing and kept washing the windows. Never spoke a word about it to him or anyone in the office, but the last day I worked there he gave me a farewell card with $200 in it and a free solar-powered portable phone charger that the company produced and sold. One time in college I answered a help-wanted ad for a window cleaner. I thought it was going to be one of these high-rise jobs. Instead, when I showed up the interview, it was some methy-looking guy in a parking lot. I spent the day with him going from house to house cleaning people's windows. He told me to pretend I was his nephew, and he kept introducing me to customers that way. Then when we were cleaning windows he kept telling me his fantasies of fucking the housewives. It was super weird. Plus, he chewed tobacco and while driving would spit the juice between his legs onto the floor of his ratty truck. Then at the end of the day he told me it was just an audition and tried not to pay me. One of the strangest days of my life. I'm not sure why, but while I was working on the 47th floor, the window washers had to open a window. It was like a wind tunnel, papers were blowing all over the place. Friend was fresh out of the shower sitting at her computer desk naked when the window cleaners were at her place. She heard a noise, so she turned around to see 2 men outside her 3rd-story window. So she screams and runs into the bathroom to hide. Later she calls the building management to complain, and they tell her that a notice went out and she must not have seen it. Then building management decided to ask the window cleaning service to send those guys to her apartment to knock on the door and apologize to her. Hilariously awkward. Well, I was washing the outside of the windows at the group home I work at. State was coming by later that week and I was super bored. I walk up to one of my dude's bedroom windows to wash it off, and apparently he hears me outside somehow, even though he had his radio turned up to about 9,000, like he always does. He rips up his blinds, totes naked, and starts slapping himself repeatedly in the forehead and screaming. This was pretty normal for him, but it's definitely the strangest thing I've ever seen so far in my life while washing a window. I am a window cleaner, but not high-rise. The thing I can never understand is when I see lip prints where people have kissed the glass in public buildings. People, if you saw what I clean off of those every week, you would never touch the glass, especially not with your lips. Edit: since a lot of people are asking when the glass is super dirty, it's usually grease, old condiments, bird poop, salt from the sidewalks, winter in Colorado. And a lot of the time I can't even tell what it is, I just know looks and smells bad. I am not a window cleaner, but a paramedic. We got a call once to a suicidal window cleaner guy once. We could see what was going on as we approached. He was swinging around and doing tricks in between each wipe of the window. Like giant swinging leaps and who knows what else. The police had him come down and asked him what he was doing, and he said he just really loves his job. So we told him he needs to be safe and left him to go back to work. I once had a bookcase collapse on me in my office. As I was laying on the floor under a pile of books and shelves, I heard a knock. There was a window cleaner at the window trying not to laugh and asking if I was okay. I was visiting my grandparents in the high-rise, looking out their windows a few stories up. As the window cleaners went by, I happily watched them clean, hands folded behind my back, because the windows were a one-way type thing where they were basically mirrors from the outside in. I knew this because I'd seen the building from the outside. Unbeknownst to me, the level of reflectivity changes pretty drastically depending on the time of day, and I realized that when the window cleaners were going by, they had to wash the windows while some weirdo, me, stood about 12 inches from the window watching their form. What I got was a lot of flirting. I don't know if the pane of glass gave them a sense of safety, or if lots of office chicks are just bored, or if our red overalls were particularly fetching, but something brought out the bachelorette instinct. Notes pressed against the glass, pretend lesbian performances, you name it. Only seemed to happen when there was a group of ladies though. My grandfather met my grandma while working as a window washer. He put his phone number right up against the glass of her office and hoped she wrote it down. She didn't call, and they've been married for 60 years. Mostly just porn on computers during work hours. A few tits. Nothing too ridiculous. Not a window cleaner, but was caught by one while jerking off. They never cleaned the windows in 9 years of living here, and the one day they arrive unannounced, this happens. So embarrassing. Opposite side of spectrum. Anytime the cleaners went by, we put the weirdest porn we could find up on our giant fucking TV. We would just casually sit there and watch pterodactyls bang some chick, as if we were watching the news. Hopefully, it was weird for them. Edit, I am happy to see I have been able to share such a lovely film with everyone. Also, thank you for the gold, stranger.